The Logitech G Pro X versus the HyperX Cloud Alpha S seems like a strange comparison, but they are comparable by price. So do they stack up in function, sound, or value? Is there a clear-cut answer, or is this more complicated than it seems? Well, the answer is yes. It's way more complicated than price alone. So let's dive right into it. The package is very similar, however the G Pro X has a bit more value packed into their package. G Pro X has a headset, a removable mic, removable 3.5mm wire for console and the sound card, 3.5mm wire for phones, Y mic and audio splitter for laptops or PCs that don't have a mic combo jack, USB sound card, felt ear cushions, and thick padded carrying bag. The HyperX Cloud Alpha have a headset, removable mic, removable 3.5mm wire, USB extension wire with remote sound card, sports material ear cushions, and a thin cotton carrying bag. Now, honestly, if you ask me, the bag that comes with the G Pro X is way better than the one that comes with the HyperX. The one that comes with the G Pro is actually going to keep your headset from getting scratched and scuffed up. It won't stop it from getting broken, but it will cushion a fall. Whereas the HyperX bag, super thin, isn't even going to help you from getting a scratch. But the contents inside the Logitech G Pro X just comes with more. I feel like if what comes with the box equates to value to you, then I think that the G Pro X definitely edge out. The HyperX have everything you need, and you could say it has nothing that you don't, but you really don't need an extra pair of ear cups, and you don't need a bag. So it does have a bit extra if you want to look at it like that. But yes, the G Pro X comes with more. Design and build wise, they both have a very similar design with the leatherette headbands with brands imprinted on the top. Both headbands sadly have very little cushion. They both have that iconic metal fork design and very little swivel. The HyperX have a bit more swivel, whereas the G Pro X barely swivel. Neither one of them actually swivel. The HyperX are a bit lighter though by about a half an ounce. These both do feel very well built and very high quality. The Logitech G Pro X have a bit of a denser ear cup, whereas the HyperX feel less dense but lighter in a better way, if that makes any sense. However, the HyperX have a horrible adjustment mechanism where you sneeze at it and it moves, whereas the Logitech have a much more sturdy and stiff adjustment slider. You put it in a position and it's going to stay there. I really appreciate that. The ear cups on the HyperX are a bit bigger, where the G Pro X are just big enough to go around your ear. Much more shallow than the HyperX. My ears do not touch the driver of the HyperX, whereas my ears are resting against the G Pro X. And the HyperX, if you do have jumbo size ears, if you are using the leather ear cup, then you get foam inside. I do appreciate that small little touch, but if you use the felt ones, you do not get that cushion. And they both have removable wires, like I said earlier, but the wire on the HyperX are just so freaking noisy. I definitely like the wire that comes with the G Pro X way better. It's a thin rubber wire, no cable noise, and it's a reasonable length, whereas the length of the HyperX is insane. I think it's to reach behind a PC, but it is very unwieldy. Overall though, the Logitech G Pro X feel denser and a bit higher quality, but I prefer the weight and overall design and feel of the HyperX headset. They balance weight and design very well, where I feel the Logitech could have shaved some grams off by removing the pucks, but they both look great. But my preference is definitely the HyperX headset, but the wire is much better than the Logitech. I really don't like the wire on the HyperX. So comfort wise, we're going to go over each headset separately, and then we're going to talk about both at the end. So the ear cups on the G Pro X are very shallow with both cushions, the felt or the leather. My ears touch the driver and there's no cushion inside to rest your ears on. I can pretty quickly and easily get these in a comfortable position though. I don't have to fight with them. I put them on and they're comfortable. The clamping force isn't too bad, so the ear touching isn't that big of a deal, but when you do wear these for a long period of time, the tip of my ears do get a little bit tender and sore, so that is something to note, but that takes a few hours for that to start happening. There is no noticeable pressure point around my jaw, my temple. However, over time, I do get a little bit of pressure on the crown of my head from them being a little bit heavy, but again, that's also another thing that takes a long time for that to start happening. I do think that the felt cushions are a bit more comfortable. However, they do impact the sound in a negative way. In my original review, I preferred the felt ones, but then I tried the leather ones again and realized how much I like the sound quality better. Over time, if it's warm in your room, your ears will start to get a little bit hot and sweaty, not very quickly or frequently. But aside from my complaints, they are overall quite comfortable. But the HyperX, both of these ear cups are very deep and spacious. My ears do not touch the driver, and if they did, like I said, there's that cushion inside with the leather ear cup. These are kind of hard to get into a comfortable position, but I have learned what position I find to be comfortable, because if they're not in the right position, they pressure point on my temple or my jaw or the back of my ear or the top of my ear. With the cloth ear cups, none of that's a problem. Because the clamping force is so light and those are so airy, I don't get any pressure point anywhere that I have them, except if I haven't pushed them too far forward. But when they are in position, these are by far the second most comfortable headset I own. If I were to choose a Comfort King, it would definitely be the HyperX Cloud Alpha because it's like wearing a cloud, pun intended. When they're in position, they are extremely comfortable. I can wear them for hours and hours and hours, whereas the G Pro X, with my ears tucked in the driver and them being kind of heavy, eventually they start to get a little tender and sore, but until then, they are quite comfortable. I just prefer my ears not touching the driver, so I have to give it to the HyperX. But I want to make it clear, they're both very comfortable. I just prefer the HyperX. So to preface this, if your value idea is in features and functions, then this is no contest. One is a clear winner compared to the other. One competes with horsepower, one competes with features and functions. You'll realize while we discuss this which one's more feature packed. So in one corner we have the G Pro, in the other corner we have the HyperX. Let's see them battle it out with specs, features, and functions. The G Pro has 50mm hybrid mesh G Pro drivers, frequency response of 20 Hz to 20 kHz. The HyperX has a 50mm dual chamber neodymium driver, frequency response of 10 Hz to 23 kHz. The G Pro has DTS:X 7.1 spatial audio. The HyperX has basic 7.1 surround sound. The G Pro has a removable blue voice cardioid mic with a frequency response of 100 Hz, 10 kHz with side tone. The HyperX has a removable mic with side tone. The G Pro X has a G Hub software with EQ and EQ presets for mic and audio, along with a multi-band EQ and other special features. The HyperX has the HyperX Ingenuity software, but it's extremely bare bones. It is only used for game chat mix and side tone. The only EQ you have is the one on the ear cups for the bass slider. The G Pro has its wire controller that has mic, mute, and volume. With the HyperX, everything can be controlled on the wire, the 7.1 game audio, the game chat mix, and mic mute. Overall, the Logitech headset has way more customization and features compared to the HyperX. However, to experience the full potential, you have to use the Logitech on PC, whereas the HyperX has the sliders that can be used on console. However, if your primary source of play is PC, you have a way better feature set on the Logitech. But if you prefer simplicity and also play a lot of console, then maybe the HyperX looks more pleasing. But for this comparison, the Logitech is a better value when it comes to feature set. However, everything except 7.1, the HyperX does very well. So let's compare the mics right now. So you are now hearing the HyperX Cloud Alpha microphone. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. There's not much control over it, but hey, if you are enjoying this video, definitely slap a like on it. It helps out a ton. And also, and this is the Logitech G Pro X on Broadcaster 1 mode. I had to bring the mic volume down a little bit, but let me know what you think in the comments about the audio quality. If you're interested in anything we talk about today, you can definitely hit the affiliate links down below. But anyway, back to the video. And that's how it both sounds. Sound quality is subjective. This part is really hard because I really like the sound of both. I like each one for different reasons. I prefer one for one thing and I prefer the other for another thing. But I do have one that I prefer over the other for most things. But let's go into a deep dive of the sound quality. The Logitech have a much more narrow soundstage, whereas the HyperX have the widest soundstage I have ever heard on a gaming headset, bar none. It is extremely wide. It's impressive considering it is a closed back headset. The Logitech have less bass, but the bass that they do have is refined, detailed, and tight. It's at the minimum you would want it. You wouldn't want it any less, but I think that it does a good job where it's at. The HyperX have a bit more bass, but I still feel they're mostly neutral sounding, but sometimes there's a bit extra bass where you wouldn't expect it to be. They're both mid-forward headsets, but the Logitech nails the cracking of gunshots a bit better, where the HyperX do explosions a bit better. Shotguns sound so good on the HyperX. They both nail the frequency of footsteps. I find that the directional audio is ever so slightly better on the Logitech, but it's minor. However, the distance awareness is better on the HyperX due to the wider soundstage. The Logitech has a better 7.1 spatial audio experience, whereas the HyperX, their surround sounds terrible. It does what it's supposed to, but I just don't like it. I don't like the G Pro spatial audio either. It's too bassy, it's a bit muddy, but it is better. And it's also customizable in the G Hub software. I loved playing single player story games on both of these. I've been playing a lot of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I was playing Ghost of Tsushima, and I've also been playing Tiny Tina's Wonderland. And for competitive play, I've been using Rogue Company and Warzone. The HyperX do wind noise extremely well. It literally sounds like wind is hitting the side of your ears and blowing past you. However, the Logitech do horseshoes on the gravel and grass way better. Basically, the Logitech are more higher mid-frequency reliant, where they're more reserved in the bass department. Not to say it's missing any bass, it just doesn't have extra bass. However, the HyperX are low mid focused with a very well represented high end and a much wider soundstage. However, you can remove some of that bass if you like. But with the Logitech on PC, you can change all of it. Add more low end, add more high end, but you cannot make the soundstage wider, of course. But to be honest, I like them each for different reasons. thing is, guys, if you're looking for sheer bang for your buck, the Logitech G Pro X has more to it, between the G Hub software, hardware it comes with, versatility between console and PC. However, for me, when I'm playing games, I mostly reach for the HyperX. I just prefer the little bit more oomph in the low end. I prefer the soundstage, and I just feel more immersed in my single player titles. But when I do play Rogue Company or Warzone, I do tend to reach for the Logitech. The HyperX really come into play with sheer horsepower, where the Logitech come in with sheer value and versatility. If you're curious about my in-depth opinions on the HyperX Cloud Alpha, you can definitely check out my video right here and check that out. But if you're interested in buying anything that we talked about today, you can go to my affiliate links down below. But just know I do get a kickback on that. But anyway, if you did enjoy this video, definitely slap a like on it and have a good one. Peace out.